Yo, what's up, y'all? This is me, DMC, in the place to be, and I'm coming through every door in the place to be with the one and only Front Row Live Entertainment, because this is the place to be. Open up your doors.
Hey guys, Rob here, Front Row Live Entertainment, hanging out here at West Hollywood. And I don't know, this guy doesn't even need an introduction. I can't believe that I'm actually sitting next to him. Never thought I would be. But this is DMC from originally RunDMC. How you doing, brother?
See you in the place to be. JMJ all day, rest in peace.
Thanks for hanging out, dude. How are you?
I'm good. First time at the Troubadour.
Is it really?
Yeah.
I want to picture you.
Legendary place, man.
Yeah, with a legendary person.
Jay-Z said that to me at the concert last week, and I was like, no, I'm just rocking and rapping. He looked at me, no, legend. I was like, well, thank you.
Hey, that's cool. That's
cool.
Yeah. So, speaking of that concert, I was actually watching that last night, and it's a great show.
Over YouTube.
Yeah, it's all over the place, and I was just watching that. So, what was it like playing again as RunDMC after 10 years?
Well, my friend, it's funny, when we came off stage, well, no, during the show, my boy Shake was like, you got it, man. It's like riding a bike. But it was, you know what? It was just like it was yesterday.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, the only difference was Jay wasn't there.
Yeah,
so, you know, it wasn't like it was the three RunDMC dudes, but it was cool because it was like, oh shoot, Run and D on stage together. Yeah, but you know, it was weird. But it was like when my friend said that, it's like riding a bike. I guess groups that haven't played together after years, because you put so much into the creation of the songs, you don't really forget.
That's true.
How to do it.
You guys are flowing.
Yeah, you don't really forget how to do it.
That's great.
It's like when you see those specials where, you know, if it's like something for Africa, or if it's like the, you know, at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame where all the guys get up on stage and jam. Yeah. It's like, you know, how does Bruce Springsteen and Clapton and Ringo, they all know there's everybody's songs for, you know, over 30 years. So you could just get up there and start jamming. So it worked. Thankfully, it worked.
That's great. That's great. And you know, on that set, you know, Run even said, you know, after Jay happened, you know, he didn't want to continue as RunDMC. So what was the exception for this past show and this upcoming show? Well,
this show technically was the second show. Because we got booked to do November 2nd Fun Fest. And the reason why we was doing the Fun Fest, it was a chance for us to promote Jay's foundation, the JMJ Foundation. Basically what his foundation does, we raise funds, and whatever funds is raised, you know, we'll fund the programs to keep music in schools. You know, Jay, him and his boy, started the Scratch DJ Academy. Yeah. So when we did the JMJ Foundation, his wife was like, you know, what are we going to do this year, whatever. We still didn't figure out the event, but I'm thinking when we said, yo, let's go do the Fun Fest, it's a great festival, a lot of bands there, but it also is going to be a lot of people. Yeah. So when we got the offer for it, it was like, okay, that gives us a good reason to show up there. You know, we could be like the bait to advertise the JMJ Foundation. Then we got a call from Jay-Z and them, you know, because they heard, oh, y'all doing a show in November. It'd be cool if y'all come do our show. So we was like, okay, we could do the Philly show because it'll kind of prep us for the show in November. Yeah. So, I mean, when we look at both of these, we was only just going to do one show, and I think showing up at a festival to do, you know, for me and Run to show up at festivals and do something, it's kind of cooler because it's always something special to bring to a festival. And, you know, originally when I said, yo, I'm down to go do the Fun Festival because I want to go see De La Soul. So you
want to be a fan also?
Yeah. So it was a way to get free pay, get there and hang out, get paid and see De La Soul. And then at the last jam, I was like, yo, Pearl Jam on that show? All right, I'll do that one too.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
So you've obviously, you know, you open a lot of doors for the music industry. So what are your thoughts on how the music industry is nowadays and the music that's actually being released these days?
Wow, that's a great question. Now, I can never critique another person's creativity. It is what it is. Do what you want to do. But I don't think there is no good intentions put towards the music. And what I mean by that is, people always ask me, what's the difference between this generation, past generation? Now, first of all, everything that I'm saying at 48 years old, the younger kids, like when I go speak at schools and high schools and middle schools, you know, I'll talk about, you know, we was always positive and, you know, it's about being responsible. And, you know, when you tell people you can't say this and that, or if you tell people, here's what you should do, along with what you're already doing, you know, the younger generation will go, oh, Mr. McDaniels, Mr. DMC, you're just saying that because you're wiser, you're older now, more experienced. And I go, that's true, young guy or girl, but everything I'm saying at 48 years old, I was saying at 12 years old. Our generation, we were a young generation of artists. And when we walked the red carpet at MTV, when we did our interviews, when we did interviews in magazines, you never seen the journalist go, who's your designer? Yeah. Who's your date? What kind of rims is that on your car? Nobody ever asked Jay, where'd you get, who's your jeweler? Yeah. They would always ask us, why did you say that lyric? Why did you make that song? It was all about the music and the power that made hip-hop, the power that makes hip-hop what it is we were young people, and it was the politicians and the elders and the powers that be and the educators. They were going, do you hear and see what these young people are doing? And it was good. And what I mean by that was, you know, you could go at the record companies all day about the weak bullshit music they put out all day, but then I realized record companies are in the business to sell records. So whatever's going to sell, they're going to pay. So it's all about the artist's responsibility, meaning you could rap about the party, you know what I'm saying, but everybody don't go to parties. You could rap about the strip club. Everybody don't go to strip clubs. You could rap about selling drugs and crime and everybody, but everybody don't do that. So if you make a record about a gun, because it's hip hop, you have to make a record on that same album to that audience, especially the younger generation, about not using a gun. If you make a record about a bitch and a hoe on that same album, because you know there's girls like that, but on that same album, you gotta make a record about Mrs. McGillicuddy, a hard-working lady, sent all her daughters to college. You know what I'm saying? None of them went to jail. We were young people making music that was the total representation of who we were. Okay, of course there's a couple of gangbangers, in every neighborhood. There's that family you know, you love them, You'll let them come in the backyard, but you ain't letting them in the house. Because they've been in and out of jail, their mothers and fathers been in and out of jail, but you love them and they love you. But on that same block is the dude you know, he gonna go to Harvard. He's gonna go be the next Dwayne Wade. He's gonna be the next Kurt. So we were young people looking at, you know, crime and poverty, but at the same time, we would rap about the crime and poverty, but we would also rap about things like be cool, go to school, get an education, because we would rap about the total truth. So I think with this current state of music, I don't blame the record companies for selling what they sell, because in any industry, like when you look at the film industry, there's Disney, and there's the rest of everything in between in the spectrum, and there's porn. There's action flicks, drama, love, but that's what it is. Same thing with music. But even, you know, the hardest gangsters on their albums, when you listen to a group like the Ghetto Boys, for instance, you know, when they made Mom Playing Tricks on Me, Scarface was like, you know, at night I can't sleep, I toss and turn, I'm in church. You know, he wasn't saying, praise me for a gangster. He was letting you know the emotions. All gangsters really don't want to be gangsters. So when gangsters was making these rap records, you know, all the stick-up kids and the gangbangers before us, Africa Bambaataa and the Zulu Nation, was one of the biggest street gangs in New York City. But when they started making rap records, you didn't hear the Zulu Nation rap about the stick-ups they were doing, how much drugs they were selling, who they killed, how many women they were sleeping with. They were young people. They made a record called Planet Rock. They made a record called Planet Rock saying, yo, we know our world is messed up, but what could we do as young people with this creative gift? Could you rap? Could you DJ? Could you break dance? Could you do graffiti? We could use our creativity to change our world. And you know, you listen to that record, they said we're the soul sonic force, Mr. Biggs, Pow Wow, and MC Glow. We emphasize to show we got ego, make this a night, rock it by day. As the people say, live it up, shucks, no work or play, our world is free. Be what you want, just be. You know, Bambaata's message, Grandmaster Flash, Furious 5, Treacherous 3, Kool Moe Dee. You know, when I rhymed, I'm DMC and the place to be. I go to St. John's University. Since kindergarten, I acquired the knowledge. After 12th grade, I went straight to college. Some of those kids in the hood who ain't have nothing said, oh, shoot, DMC. You know what I'm saying? Our idol said school is cool. Yeah. Some of those kids got off the corner and went and got diplomas, became doctors and lawyers. I said that rhyme because I wasn't afraid to say it, because Kool Moe Dee and them, they did a remake of the Pointer Sisters' Treacherous 3, Yes We Can. Do-do-do-do-do-do. Remember that record? I know we can make it. I know that we can. Kool Moe Dee said, changed my life. I probably was 12, he probably was 15 or something like that, because he's a little older than me. But Kool Moe Dee, who was like the God MC to me, just like Rakim became the God MC to my generation, Kool Moe Dee said, once an old body from the neighborhood took a hop to the top because I knew that I would. Excelled over the rest because I make progress. I don't consider it luck because I'm not blessed. I got my life all together. Love the way that I live. Go to school, really cool, and I think positive because it's all right to have fun, lots of pleasures and joys. Like you can go out party and all that, but he said it's all right to have fun, lots of pleasures and joy, but it's a brain that separates the men from the boys. And I would never forget that. One of the best MCs in the world said, it ain't about my money and my cars and my women and all. It's a brain, and made me go to school and be harder. So when I got my chance to get on the mic, I had to pay it forward. So you know what I'm saying? And everybody after us, when you listen to De La Soul, when you look at Eric B. and Rakim, they was the first cats with the Rolls Royces on the covers, with the $3,000 Louis suits, the not of money, but everything out of Rakim's mouth was visionary and upliftness. He didn't say, and him and his crew, they'll come in here right away and be like, ski masters, everybody on the floor, put the money in the bags. If you look at me, I'm a pistol whip you. That's what his crew did. But when Rakim made his record, he didn't say, I'm Rakim the stick-up kid. He said, I used to roll up, this is a hole-up, but now I earn to learn because I'm righteous. So all the little shorties and the stick-up kids was like, yo, the God MC Rakim said he don't do that no more. So maybe there's a way for me. So the bottom line is, how do all forms of entertainment, you'll hear these rappers go, man, they don't speak to Bruce Willis and Arnold Schwarzenegger, and they don't speak to Hollywood when they make their violent movies, glorifying violence. And I say, yo, that's a wrong excuse. Out of every other genre of entertainment, man, you can't do that with music, especially hip-hop. Yeah. If you're going to use that excuse, get off the microphone. Don't call yourself a rapper or MC, a DJ, producer, you get out the record business, get away from this, and go be an actor. Because it's different. These little shorties look at us rappers and they look at this hip hop thing. You know what I'm saying? They don't listen to the mothers and fathers. They don't listen to the teachers. They listen to us. So if you continually saying my whole life is nothing but strip clubs and drinking champagne, what do you think the younger generation is going to do? The thing that separated us was, you know, from 9 years old, about 21 years old, we used to listen to the elders. We used to read books. We listen to the elders. We'll listen to the OGs, the gangsters, the killers, the pimps. We'll listen to their stories. And then we would look at what our lives was, and we would go put it on records. We would put the beat on and put all that knowledge on records. So if I was 16 years old listening to my elders, getting all this information, reading books, when I stepped in the studio to make a record, when that beat came on, I'm putting all this information on that record. So if at 16 years old, I'm getting all this information and education, everybody 15 years old and younger than me, they're getting at a younger age than me what I'm getting at 16. So that kid 12 years old listened to me at 16. By the time he's 16 years old, he's highly evolved. Yeah. To answer your question, the problem with this music industry is immature, it's disrespectful, it's irresponsible, and it's ignorant. Ignorant doesn't mean stupid. Ignorant means you're ignoring the truth. This hip-hop thing is special. And you can rap about your strip clubs, you can say your cuss words on the records, but at the end of the day, you as a person, as an artist in this business, you have a responsibility that you either better tend to or you can't get respect. Yeah. You know, you can make all your money, do that. Like, you look at MTV Cribs, you know, MTV Cribs is, you know, good. But check this out. We know what these rappers drive. We know how many cars they got. We know even their sleep. Like, I don't care about your bedroom. And the crazy, we know what's in their refrigerator. Yeah. We know they got a jacuzzi and a pool. You know what I'm saying? But we don't know the truth. Some of these artists been in the business 6 and 7 years. They're rapping about, I'm on the corner selling drugs, I'm hustling and this and that. That's not true, because you don't do that no more. Yeah. You don't live in a hood no more. You live in a gated community. I saw you on MTV Cribs.
Your own bodyguard and everything.
And I gotta sit with some kids and say, look at these cats right now. You know what I'm saying? Your kids go to the best schools, but you're making money off of a concept and an image that you did partake of, but you don't do that no more. KRS-One, RunDMC, Public Enemy. On each elevation of our music and albums, there was an elevation in visual images, artists, and concepts. So my thing is this, you can make what you want to make, but on every album, you got to put that one truthful record that is not speaking on you, speaking to those people that's listening to you.
I mean, they're the ones that are living their life because of you.
Exactly. I mean, you know, when I go to speak at jails and stuff like that, when I see the, you know, the Crips and Bloods out here, I go to jails and dudes tell me, yo, thank you, man. Thank you. And I go, for what, man? Because cats like Public Enemy, KRS-One, De La Soul, you know, just for your saying, it wasn't like we was preaching. Yeah. You're wrong for gangbanging. Yeah. We would just put these little tidbits on there, and these guys doing life for drugs and murders and stuff like that said, just for your saying that, man, I respect y'all, because, yo, I was a little before your time, but you saved my little brother and sister. Because y'all made hip-hop something to be respected. You know what I'm saying? Because it was our young music. You know what I'm saying? Hip-hop was a way further. You know, the problem with hip-hop now, there isn't a generation gap between the OGs and the young Gs. It's an information gap. You know, the OGs is going, I don't want to talk to these young punks. And the young kids is, I don't need to sit there and talk to DMC. But yes, you do. Because if me and the young people sit there together and talk about ideas and concepts, imagine how much better the music will be. True. So I think with the whole concept of the music industry, the power is with the artist. And if the artist doesn't be responsible, of course you're going to hear the same whack-ass records every 20 minutes on the radio. You hear the same whack-ass records. The DJs have no power. Yeah. Hip-hop radio used to be about, if I went to Florida and I discovered and you had to be dope. But since hip-hop is a 24-hour thing on the radio now, they got to fill it with content. Yeah. Hip-hop used to be just Friday, Saturday night. Whether it was New York out here, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, regardless if it was a gangster record, if it was a strip club record, the point is you had to be dope. 98% of hip-hop now is bad demos. They got good voices. Some of the beats be dope. Like a beat come on, but some of the stuff that come out their mouths when the music drops, I'm like, that's all you can think of. But no disrespect to them, that's what they do. I think, you know, if you just be responsible, you can have your fun, and the music would be better.
Cool. Most definitely. And, you know, now you're still doing music. You're here. We're here because you're doing your rock band, your rock outfit.
A different interpretation of the King of Rock. Because, like, you know, when I was growing up, like speaking about radio, when I was growing up, you know, in Queens, New York, there was AM radio. Yeah. And on AM radio, you would hear Jackson 5, Sly and the Family Stone, and James Brown. But as a kid, I wasn't into Right On magazine and bell bottoms and afros and all of that. Because on AM radio, like I said, you hear the Jackson 5 and James Brown and Sly and the Family Stone, but you would also hear the Doobie Brothers. You'd also hear Harry Chapin. Like growing up as a kid, Cats in the Cradle and the Silver Spoon, folk rock as a kid, 9, 10, 11, 12 years old, it changed my life. Yeah. The Beatles, Led Zeppelin. You know what I'm saying?
Doors.
The Doors. Like, you know, the R&B funk music was cool, but for some reason, you know, the Doobie Brothers, Old Black Water, Keep On Rolling, Bob Dylan. Elton John. It was just something about guitars and harmonicas and Neil Young. It was just something about the music that touched me. And as a little kid, I always wanted to be a rock star. So even when Run put me in a group as a king of, instead of saying I'm the king of rap, I'm the king of rock, because rock was just, I didn't want to be the best rapper. That's easy. I wanted to be a rock star like Hendrix and them and stuff like that. And, you know, even when we first did Rockbox, we was trying to make RunDMC. We didn't do rock music to get white people to like us, to cross over and to get rich and famous. Back in the days before, you know, hip-hop was able to make records, you know, the DJs, we used to have to find break beats to rap over. There was always a James Brown funky drummer break beat. Disco records like Good Times always had a bass line to rap over. The jazz records, you know, there was always break beats in these beats. But in those same crates of those DJs, you know, early 70s all the way up to the early 80s was rock beats. Big Beat, Billy Squire, boom, ba bam, boom, boom, was a rock song. Queen, we used to rap over Queen. Another one, Bites the Dust. So all these rock songs was in those crates. So when we started making our records, everybody was rapping over the disco. Everybody was sampling George Clinton. Everybody was sampling James Brown. Yeah. So I was like, yo, man, let's do the rock records that we used to rap over when Jay would play the music in the park. So when we did Rockbox, we were just trying to make Big Beat over. Then we did the King of Rock, you know what I'm saying? So rock was always a part of hip hop, but I think we was the first to like capitalize on it and stuff like that. But even as a kid, it was just something always about a guitar where, okay, you could play a record with a drum beat, you could play a record with a bass line, but if you play a break beat with a rock guitar, the rock guitar is so ugly and loud, it's gonna make people go, what's that? So that was all, because imagine if we'd have came out and did, you know, 40 sucker MCs perpetrating the fraud over boom, 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 boom. It would have been cool, Run rapping, you know.
As great.
But when that thing said, people, how the hell are they rapping with guitar? And that's what it did, and people paid attention. Oh, snap. And it was so good that it got us on MTV. Rockbox, Walk This Way wasn't the first rock rap record. First rock rap record was Rockbox, which was the first rap video on MTV. So once we got on MTV, my thing was, we're in now. So now let's put a foot in everybody in rock and roll's ass. So then we did the King of Rock, where we went in the Rock and Roll Museum, stepped on Michael Jackson's glove, you know what I'm saying? And when we met Michael Jackson, he was like, I love the way you step on my glove in the video. Like, he wasn't disrespectful, he knew where it was coming from. He just loved it, right? The creative, fun intent of it. And then when we did Walk This Way, we was originally just gonna sample Walk This Way, because that beat was a break beat everybody would rap over in the park. So me and Ron was just gonna rhyme on it originally. I'm DMC in a place to be, rhyming on a mic since '83. Best MC in history, I'm the best MC there will ever be. But Rick Rubin, he was producing us at the time. He was like, guys, here's what you should do. So we're looking at Rick Rubin, y'all should do the record over. So we're thinking from a limited hip-hop MC DJ mind. What the hell you think we're gonna do? We're gonna sample Walk This Way and we're gonna rap over it, we're gonna steal the music. He was like, no, you should do their record as is. Now Jay, rest in peace, Jay was like, wow, that might work. Me and Ron was like, what you talking about, Jay? We was like, cause we made Rockbox and King of Rock, we was rapping. I'm the, you know, 40, so he's king over, he's rhyming. We had never heard Walk This Way because Jay would never let it play that far. We had never heard the lyrics. Because remember, Jay would DJ as soon as the guitars get ready to go off, back to the front of the record. Exactly. So Rick was like, here, take the record, go home and learn the record. When we let that record, we let it play. Backstreet Lover, when the lyrics came on, we was like, oh hell no, this is hillbilly gibberish, we are not doing this, y'all gonna ruin our careers. Me and Ron was like, Africa Bambaataa and the Zulu Nation and Melly Mel gonna hate us if we do that. And Jay was like, calm down guys, just do that record, don't think of it as Steven writing it. Even though he wrote it, we was like, what you talking about, Jay? He said, do those lyrics like RunDMC would do it. Switch off, you know, I'll be backseat lover, how I need to cut. Because at first we was like, hell no. Me and Run, we was holding our breath, we turned blue. Come on, do the record. But we was going to die, we wasn't going to do it. But Jay was like, yo, just do the record like that. We did it and, you know, changed history. And I always tell a story to younger people because the moral to that story is, now, Walk This Way would have been Walk This Way with me and Run Rhyme. It had just been another Run DMC record. It went and really knocked down the doors. Kid Rock said Run DMC and Aerosmith had a baby. He popped out. Korn, Limp Bizkit, Linkin Park, all of it. Even the rock dudes, Prince, because of y'all. That record was an important record. And the moral to that story is never be afraid to try something new. Be open, because it could change your lives and others' lives and stuff like that. But I had to tell that story.
So what can we expect now that you're actually doing the rock stuff?
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's a different interpretation. It's kind of like when you see Robert Plant go and do Led Zeppelin songs bluesed out, or you know, when you see guys like Bruce Springsteen or Sting, or even Prince will go sit with an orchestra. It's just a different interpretation of music. I still got the DJ, because I believe if you're gonna have any elements of hip hop, you gotta have the DJ there, because the DJ will be scratching as an instrument. But I've never done. I think what I'm enjoying about this is I've never done King of Rock live. I mean, I've did it live with Jay, but that was as a rap.
This is actually a debut then.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I've never done King of Rock with a drum, guitar, bass, live, like really with the band playing. And you could talk to a lot of musicians. I talk to a lot of hip hoppers too that do those things where they do the music live. When you use the band, it's just a whole different energy. Yeah. You can stop it and technically you can do it with a DJ. I mean, but it feels different. Feels different.
There's definitely one record we should all be expecting, like everybody's gonna be happy for. And it's 2013. You're planning on releasing it, right?
Yes, the album. Yeah, the album. I'm still trying to figure out a name for the album, but I got some good people on the album. I got Travis Barker on there on drums. I got Mick Marsh from Motley Crue on guitar. I got Sebastian Bach singing. Chuck D, Public Enemy. Freddie Fox, aka Bumpy Knuckles. I did a record with Roma Sublime. So I think what's good about this record is it's really a record where I'm working with a lot of musicians, which is cool.
Right now, your most recent single is "Attention Please," right?
Attention,
you worked with
Paulie Perrette from NCIS. I got all.
How's it working with her?
It was one of the most incredible experiences of my life. She's a great actor, but she's an even better rock and roll singing artist. Her album's dope too. She got an album. I don't know if she want me telling people, but she has a dope album she's working on. She's a great songwriter. What I like about the record is her voice, her delivery, her presentation is rock and roll. The record, Attention Please, is a positive record. It's powerful, it feels good. It's very inspirational, and it rocks.
And now that you're doing rock, there's I guess more screaming, so to speak. So earlier you were diagnosed with Spasmodic
Dysphonia.
I can never say that. Yeah. So how are you actually coping with that on this?
It's crazy. I was diagnosed with both of them. There's either or. There's abductor and adductor, two different types of doctors. Like, you have both. Wow. Your case is like everything that I do, I always do it to the extreme, even if it's
That's why you're the king.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying? But all I have to do is not try to scream and yell like I did with RunDMC. The doctor played us like that and said, just don't do that no more, you'll be all right.
Oh, man. Well, good luck with that, definitely.
Thank you.
Now, on a lighter note, you also have a charity, a foundation, Felix Organization, right?
Yes, the Felix Organization. People always ask me what that is. Well, put it like this. Before the Spasmodic Dysphonia, before Jay got shot and killed, before my father died, before RunDMC broke up, I was at one of the worst points in my life. I'll describe it like this, and it's going to be in my play. I'm getting ready to do a movie, film on my life story, not the DMC story, but the Darryls story. This is before Jay passed away. RunDMC, we wasn't over here. We was over in Europe and Asia touring. Somebody called up out of nowhere, hey, y'all want to go over to Asia and Europe and tour and get 150 grand a night? Well, set change, we on that plane. But every night we was coming off stage, and I would lay in my hotel room, and I just was depressed. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I was like, I asked this question. This was like 96, 97. I was like, am I here just to be DMC, the king of rock? Because if I am, this isn't fun. My friends thought I was crazy. It was like, you're DMC. Rock and Roll Hall of Fame coming, you know, first to go gold, first to go platinum, all of that. And I didn't know what it was and stuff like that. And make a long story short, I was an alcoholic, suicidal, metaphysical, spiritual wreck. And I started thinking about committing suicide, not just because I was disappointed with my life. I just felt I'm DMC, I've accomplished my goals here on earth, but I wasn't happy. And then, make a long story short, found out that I was adopted. And didn't know my whole life at the age of 35. Now I was really ready to kill myself. Not only I'm going through all of this, my mother and father ain't even my mother and father, whatever, whatever. And then I found out I was a foster kid. But when I found out that information, even though it was so cold and unfortunate, a peace settled in me. I was like, yes, I'm DMC, yes, I'm the king of rock, but I'm the king of rock for a greater purpose than I possibly could comprehend. And then I thought about all those kids in the hood, foster kids, orphans, kids in group home, who are just like me. And I just want to let them know, don't let your situation define who you are, because it don't matter what situation you're in, whether you're a foster kid, whether you're homeless, whether you're living in poverty, if you're here on the face of the earth, you have no idea why you was put here. There's a big reason. Look at me. I'm just like you.
Who would have thought, right?
Me, right. It didn't happen to me. I wouldn't be the king of rock, but more importantly, I wouldn't be sitting here representing those kids through, not politics or religion. I believe music succeeds where politics and religion fails. I was given a vehicle of hip hop. So now I could go talk to these younger kids. I could go tell these kids, yeah, you could do anything you want to do, be what you want to be. I always tell them, all of y'all don't have to be rappers and athletes and drug dealers, because most young kids in the hood think, I got to be an athlete, rapper. Nah, man, you could be a journalist such as yourself. You could be my manager, you could be an accountant, you could be a doctor, you could be a lawyer. This whole music industry doesn't run just because I rhyme. There's so many careers here. I tell the kids, and no matter what you do, you might have a gift and a talent, but educate yourself. Whatever it is that you do well, you need to learn to do other things well. So when I found out that I was adopted 5 years ago, I started a charity called the Felix Organization, and we do stuff for orphans, foster kids, and adopted kids. We just educate them, empower them, teach them, discipline, and direct them. So, because you never know, those kids who we call so underprivileged, I say this, if they're so underprivileged, give them a privilege. Because when you do give these kids a privilege, no matter how small it is, they excel.
That is true.
Yeah, they just want some help, that's all.
That is true. And to close this off, go ahead and give them where they can actually help for your charity.
FelixOrganization.com, and you could go to my website, MeDMC, that's me-dmc.com. But even more importantly, just go to the RunDMC.com website, and it'll link you to all of those. And I'm gonna put the album out at the top of the year. I'm dropping a single though in November before the album. I did a song with Static X, Wayne Static, which we will be doing. He's not here, but we're gonna do it together in November. But I did a song called Noise Revolution with Static X. It's crazy.
I think you're already going to work with everybody in the industry.
Yeah. Chuck D said, D, man, you're a rock and roll legend. Work with everybody. I'm about to work with Ringo. I'm going to work with Bruce Springsteen. I'm going to call up Paul McCartney. It's on.
If I become a musician, I'm going to hit you up. We got to work on something together.
I would love to work with you.
Well, thanks so much for hanging out with us. Be sure to catch them. And it's just DMC as far as your rock band?
Yeah. Well, I think when I officially get it up and running, it's a DMC, but I'm going to call it Darryls Music Company.
Okay.
You know, like Dave Matthews Band. DMC is still Darryls Music Company.
Well, there you go, guys. Check it out. Thanks for sticking around with Front Row Live. Subscribe, and we'll see you guys soon.